But let's get into Jordan Love. And guys, I've been waiting to make this point because I just think it's something that I sat there and thought about for a second. And just tried to, I went through the data, I tried to look at all the data here with Jordan Love, and I found something interesting. The path to beating the Packers is very simple. And there's context, and I'll get to it. But Jordan Love this year has had 7 games in which he's had 30 or more pass attempts. 7 games. 9 touchdowns to 10 interceptions in those games. Which is interesting, right? You throw more than 30 passes, typically he's either coming from behind or they can't run the football. He's 9 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. His record in those games, 2-5. The Detroit Lions is very simple, guys. It continue to contain the run game. The Packers can barely run the ball as it is. Now they don't have Aaron Jones. You have to make Jordan Love beat you. Because in games where he's tried to beat the other opponent, actually one of those wins was against the Chargers, but the Chargers, we know, have the worst pass defense in the National Football League, and it took a couple of those plays from the Chargers, or the plays they couldn't make, for them to win. Most of the time, he's losing these games. Where Jordan Love, the more Jordan Love is asked to do, the more likely it is they lose. That's how it was. I think he had 30-ish, 40 pass attempts against the Lions, and he got blown out. Yeah. So, again, the game plan should be very simple. You continue to contain the run game, which they struggle to run the ball anyway. But if the Lions can get up early on the Packers and get them out of – bail on the run or at least go away from it, Sam, they're in trouble immediately. Sure. Jordan Love is in trouble immediately. He has not shown that Jordan Love is the reason why the Packers will beat you. It'll be in other ways. It'll be the defense gifting Jordan Love a short field, the defense creating turnovers, the run game getting chunk yards. All that stuff matters. But if it's very simple, Sam. You make Jordan Love beat you, you're gonna win.
Yeah,
that's all it is. That's it. That's all.
And am I correct in my assessment that Aaron Jones, he's either not going to play
or
he's out? He's officially
MCL
out.
sprain.
Which that does not bode well for the Green Bay Packers, because that means your RB1 is A.J. Dillon and his quads for show at this point. So that's the thing. I don't think the Packers will be able to get anything going on the ground whatsoever. The Lions have a great rush defense, and the Packers, without Aaron Jones, I would say have one of the worst rush offenses in the NFL. But another thing that I would say the Lions can do that will force Green Bay's hand to maybe throw the ball more often than they want to. I do think the Lions will be able to get a early lead, and I also think they'll be able to control the clock as well, because they can run the football very, very well, and the Packers, it seems like for the last few years, and especially this year, have struggled to stop the run. So I expect early on the Lions to get an opening stop after the Lions win the toss and defer, and then go down and take 5-6 minutes off the clock and score a touchdown. And here's the thing. This even happens to the best offensive coordinators. The Chicago Bears controlled the clock against the Lions in the last game. It's just numbers. They had over 40 minutes of time of possession. And that, to me, was one of the reasons why the Lions didn't really stick to the run or commit to it, because the Bears would score, but they would also take a lot of time off the clock. So that kind of led even a brilliant offensive mind like Ben Johnson to force the issue a little bit and throw the ball maybe more often than he should. So if the Bears can score and take time off of the clock and run it down the Packers' throats, it'll make a guy like a Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love feel like they have to catch up and sort of force possessions when they aren't there. So to me, I think this is a game where Jordan Love maybe has like 55% completion percentage, throws a pick or two, and is relatively ineffective because the Lions get an early lead, they control the clock, and the Packers, on the other hand, will not be able to control the clock because they will constantly be forced into 2nd and 8s, 2nd and 9s, 3rd and 7s, and the like, and that then their offense is off schedule, and Jordan Love on 3rd and long, good luck if you're the Packers, and it's open season if you're the Lions.
Yeah, and the Packers, what they can't do or what they struggle to do, the Lions are elite at, which is stopping the run. It's a good matchup for the Lions. And like I said, Jordan Love, in situations where the run game ain't working, which is a majority of this year, he has not looked great. Like you guys remember the Lions game already had 2 interceptions, 2 of those to Jerry Jacobs. But Lucas, that's the pathway. You make Jordan Love beat you. And I know it's easier said than done, but I think this is going to be the same result, maybe not score-wise, but how the game goes when they played the Lions earlier. You stop the run or you contain the run, and then the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah, I think this game's going to be uglier than it was in the Week 4 matchup. They're in Detroit. There's no Aaron Jones. There's no Rasul Douglas. This game, to me, honestly, fellas, you know what it smells like, especially on a Thanksgiving day?
What does it smell like?
You remember back in 2015 The Philadelphia Eagles came into town on Thanksgiving with Mark Sanchez,
Oh,
the corpse of Mark Sanchez,
Ooh.
and the Lions laid a 45-14 victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. DeMarco Murray had like 35 rushing yards. Jordan Matthews was the leading receiver of the game for the Eagles. That's what this game smells like to me. This Lions team, they're more complete than that 2015 team. They're better coached. And honestly, this Packers team is probably just on par with that Philadelphia Eagles team back then. I mean, Romeo Doubs, he's a solid receiver, but as your wide receiver one and you don't have a run game, you're cooked. You are cooked. Barbecue chicken on all three phases of the game for the Detroit Lions, in my opinion.
Or barbecue turkey.
Ooh, I like that.
A turducken, possibly?
Yes.
Let's see. Jerry Alexander says Lions have like a 5 or 6 game losing streak on Thanksgiving. It's time we break the streak tomorrow. Absolutely. And I think they do. We'll get to our score predictions later in the show, of course, because we got a graphic now officially. We made it, guys. We got a graphic for our score predictions. There you go. We're not going to just tell you. We'll show you. We'll show the graphic. But yeah, that's what it's going to come down to, guys. Like I said, Jordan Love is not shown, speaking of Rick Ross, has not shown anybody he could beat them besides the Chargers. And I think the other game was week 1, and I forgot exactly who they played. I'd have to look that up. Let me just check.
Bears.
The Packers, yeah, they played the Bears.
That's who it was.
Chicago.
Okay.
And it was a game for a second.
Yeah, that's who it was, because that game, yeah, you guys are right. It was against Chicago. And there was another, even that win, you look at that game, Jordan Love only had 27 pass attempts, 3 TDs. He looked great, cool. And then he faced the Saints, and he won that game with over 30 pass attempts. I believe he was, just to check, 22 of 44, 50% completion percentage. But they found a way to win by 1. But those are the 2 wins, Chargers and Saints, where he's had more than 30. And those games, you need some context there, because Derek Carr was hurt.